Hi and welcome to another episode on my YouTube channel. My name is Toluse Francis. If this is your first time on this channel, please do subscribe just with the button below. So on this episode, I want to talk about something that I came across in the course of the week, while interacting with people, and in a particular group, I realized that some people are still wondering how long their grief would last and how long it would take for them to overcome that phase of their life. So I put together this video to answer the question of how long does grief last. Alright, so once in a while I'll be switching between my notes and the screen to come along. Now, there is no timetable for how long grief lasts, or how you should feel after a particular time. Of course, suppose that after 12 months, that is a year, it may feel as if everything happened yesterday, or it may even feel like it happened a lifetime ago. It all varies. All right, it all depends on individuals. It all depends on a number of things, and learning to live with the loss of someone you love can take a long time. It can actually take a while for you to come out of it, or for you to even accept that it is true, or to accept the reality that this person is actually gone or is no longer existing. And these are some of the challenges that grief may bring along. Where you begin to ask questions and begin to wonder how long you're going to mourn, how long you'll keep crying, how long you feel the absence of that person. It generally takes generally takes a year to realize how much your life has changed, both emotionally and practically, after the loss of a loved one. So many things come up once a year, like celebrating a birthday or doing something that the person who died usually does. All right, but again, you realize that each time these things happen, you're reminded of the loss of that person, and your feelings of grief may even come to the surface. And it may feel as if you are on an emotional roller coaster, where 1 minute you're coping well and the next minute it seems like you're overwhelmed. So take for example a woman who lost her husband and there are children left behind. Perhaps there are things that the father does while he was alive, and another year comes and the children can actually feel the absence of their father, or even the mother can feel the absence of her husband. All right, and then that memory comes again and she begins to relive the experiences that she has had with her husband while he was alive, and you realize the number of times that these feelings come rushing at you, and you begin to wish they never really happened. You become overwhelmed. All right, and then you probably thought you had healed before now. You probably thought you had overcome this experience before now, only for you to realize at that point of your life that you actually haven't overcome anything. Now, as time passes, the balance between good days and bad days shifts, and you gradually will find that you have more good days than bad days. At the beginning, yes, you may have more of bad days than good days, but with time, as time goes on, you realize that there begins to be a balance or a shift between your good days and your bad days. But these changes are gradual and they are dependent on individuals. They are not cast in stone. All right, they are not cast in stone. It is not as though because Charles, no particular name actually, because Charles was able to overcome his in about 1 year or thereabout, doesn't mean that Stephanie would overcome hers in that same 1 year or so. So it depends and it varies. And the same way the symptoms may vary. Now, some of the physical symptoms of grief include trouble sleeping, losing your appetite, which may also lessen over time. So at the beginning, you may lose sleep. At the beginning, you may find it difficult to actually sleep, or you may even lose your appetite. All right, taking care of yourself might be something that you're not paying attention to at the early stage of your grieving. All right, but as time goes on, that also changes and that reduces. Now, the intensity of the feelings may lessen over time. All right, like I said earlier, the intensity may lessen with time. Of course, there's no timetable about how long you will grieve. The length of time is different for every individual. For most people it can take years. For some it might take lesser. For some, even after 1-2 years, they keep going on with their normal life, but again things happen and the emotions come rushing again. All right. At times you might even feel that you have moved on. You may think that you have overcome that phase of your life and you have moved on, but again you realize that you actually haven't moved on when things happen. So the goal actually is to find a way to live with and cope with your feelings. That's actually the goal that you must pursue after the demise of a loved one. You must come to that point where you are in for living and coping with your feelings. You can't throw the feelings away. You may come to that point where your feelings of grief are a reminder of the person, a reminder of the event around that person. So take for instance, if you lost that person because the person drowned at the beach, for example, each time you hear the word beach or you're invited to go to the beach, you would remember that person. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean that you haven't healed or you haven't come out of it, but events or places surrounding this location may remind you of that particular person, and when that comes up, or there is a tendency for feelings to actually come along with it, and then you may fall into that trap of feeling low all again. So you may feel some of these feelings or you may feel all right, but again remember that there's actually no time frame for you to heal. Now there are some questions that people ask when they find themselves in this situation of grief and it seems like it's taking time. So I'll take this question one after the other. I think I have about 6 or thereabout. Let me check. Yes, I have about 6 of them. So the first question that people may experience, let me put it that way, is let me see. Yeah. So I thought I was feeling fine, but now I feel worse. Now there are a lot of reasons why you might feel that over time. You feel your grief more rather than less. In the early stages, you might be caught up in a whirlwind of having people around you. People are all here and there doing things for you. In a whirlwind of things that you need to sort out. But as they leave gradually, the reality begins to dawn on you that this person is actually gone. So yes, you will think you're doing fine, all right, because you think you're doing fine because there are people all around you. You think you're feeling fine because there is a lot of activities around you, but as those things begin to reduce, the reality begins to dawn, and sometimes it comes to you that you really haven't actually overcome or come out of it. So for example, if you have young children or perhaps elderly relatives you need to look after, your initial focus will be on supporting them. Now your own feelings of grief might be delayed. Okay, so at that point where everyone is weeping, everyone is crying, everyone is being torn apart, you are there trying to ensure that everyone is fine, everyone is okay. You're consoling people and sympathizing with your siblings, your relatives, and the likes. Your grief may be delayed because it is possible that after all this, months later or weeks later is when your own grief starts. Okay, so at that point, you may actually think that you are fine. All right, but the truth of the matter is you may not be fine, just that you haven't come into that phase of grieving yet. And feeling angry is a common example, all right, when you're diagnosed late of grief. It is possible for you to be angry. It is possible for you to get upset and, not be happy with anyone. But what can you do? The interesting thing, or what I would like to say here is that when you realize that you're not feeling that sense of grief or that feeling that you have lost someone so there when everyone is running all around, do not be too relaxed, all right? Pay attention to your feelings and ensure that you talk to someone about it. Number 2, little things take me by surprise and suddenly I feel overwhelmed by grief. Now, over time, you find a way to leave some of your day-to-day reminders of the person you love. Now, what do I mean by that? With time, you would have to look for ways to live your life, even when the reminders of the person that you love that is now late comes to your mind. Now, this you cannot actually run away from. You cannot run away from it because if that person was dear to you, events would occur that would actually remind you of that particular person. As you move with your daily activities and these reminders come, you find yourself at a point where you are pushed, all right, you are overwhelmed by the feelings of the absence of this person. Trust me, it is the unpredictable little things that even get you overwhelmed. Like finding the belongings in the drawer, finding the person's shoes, or someone uses the same type of perfume or same smell of perfume. A person wears same perfume, or if perfume with a similar smell and passes right beside you, and you perceive that, it is possible for you to trigger the memory of that person. So it's fine for these things to happen, and it's completely okay to be upset. All right, it's completely okay to feel uncomfortable with being emotional in public. All right, but you don't have to hide it. It's possible for you to get emotional in public. For example, the example of the perfume that I cited. You might be in public and someone walks by you and the person actually smells the way your late friend or whoever he or she is, smells, and it's possible for you to get emotional and break down, okay, or maybe someone said something or did something and there's a spark or a reminder of that person. It's fine for you to break down in public. Others may not want to do that, but that is you, and you are just being human. So you cannot throw away the human side of you in this process. So while it may be harder than other people, while it may be harder for you to show your emotions or your weakness in public, I implore you to not hide it. When you're emotional about it, show it. You want to cry, do that. Don't feel embarrassed at all. It doesn't matter what others may think. That is how you feel, and that is who you are. Number 3, sometimes you realize that you cannot face socializing or meeting up with friends. Yes, this may occur because you find yourself finding it difficult to socialize. Now, when you realize that this is happening, it's as a way of making you antisocial if it exists for a long time. So it's important that the moment you realize that you're finding it difficult to socialize or meeting up with friends because you're grieving, be open to that very close friend of yours. There is a way that it can help you to come to the point where you're very open and you're able to move on or socialize with them. It will not always happen that way. Okay, it's not every time that you would not feel like socializing. Okay, you may find social activities difficult. That happens. All right. For example, your partner is the person we're talking about here, and you often went out together, with other couples, and now there's a couple hangout, you probably wouldn't want to show up. All right, so it's fine. Okay, if there's a child and there's a children party and you're invited, there's a tendency that you would not want to attend because now your child is gone. So you can always let people know how you feel. You can always let people know that it's not that you don't love them, it's not that you don't care about them, but it's just not healthy for yourself. All right. If your family is far away, you can take a break. All right, go there, spend some time, and then return home. But one thing that I always advise is do not pretend about your feelings. Do not pretend about how you feel, about things. Be open as they help you heal faster. Excuse me. Number 4. People think I should move on, but I get overwhelmed or I can't. It is common for people to think you should move on. It is common for people to think, come on, it's already 1 year, let this person go. It's already 2 years, let this person go. Yeah, but they are not you and you're not them. All right, it is how you feel that really matters. People may even say that the person you're grieving over is not so close to you, perhaps, but we all have different ways of coping with grief, and if people say that you've grieved enough, that is their opinion. All right, you can grieve for as long as you think you want to grieve. Okay, get encouragement, get people to encourage you. Some people find it difficult to cope with grief, so they just want to encourage you to move on. It's not because they're wicked, it's not because they hate you, but it's the best that they think they are offering. So do not scold them, do not chase them away, do not make them feel terrible or bad. Okay, that's the best way that they think they can encourage you to move on. So when they come your way with such statements, embrace them. Tell them you understand. All right, that what it just wants to be you, and you're very confident that with time you will come out of this and you would heal. All right. Number 5, this probably happens when so this actually, I want to talk to my partner but I can't. This happens when you want to talk to someone but the person probably doesn't understand, or the person is not even close by. All right. So it becomes very, very important that you look for someone that you can talk to, that can be accountable to. Okay, I have here, I said, don't hide it. Others will take their lead from you. If talking about them make you comfortable, then go ahead. If talking about the person you've lost makes you comfortable when you're in public or when you're with people or with your partner, then go ahead. It's a clear sign that this person matters to you. You value this person. And even though the person may be away from you physically, you still value this person. And finally, people don't think I should be grieving at all. Now, this can be very, very real and true. People may think, but you're not even as close as this person, is to that person. So why are you spending so much time? Why is it so heavy on you? The truth about human relation is that it's not quantifiable. You cannot actually quantify how much a person means to you, because you don't have a scale to measure that actually. So the other person may actually think that you did not have so much close relationship with the deceased, but for you it matters so much. You might have known that person for just 2 weeks or 2 months, yet that person might have impacted your life so much. All right, so it doesn't really matter what people think. Maybe people feel that you shouldn't be grieving about that person. Trust me, it doesn't matter. If grieving about that person is what you want to do, please go ahead. So I said we all don't have same level of relationship with the deceased. People may feel, based on the relationship that exists between you both, there isn't need to grieve. But I would say go ahead and grieve if that would make you feel better. So in the end, it doesn't really matter how long you grieve. It doesn't matter how long this has gone on. It doesn't matter how close this person is to you. As long as you feel that you are not completely healed or you are not completely free from that grief, keep on. Finally, it is important for me to say here that while there is no time frame or timeline for you to grieve, it is expedient that you ensure that you get a grief counselor and that you're talking to someone. Now, this is because you need someone to always check up on you and someone to lead you on that path of recovery. It is not sufficient that you sit just alone in your house or in your bed and think that you would overcome it. No, you need to have someone, a professional, be it a grief counselor or therapist, who would lead you through that healing process and bring you to that point where you can confidently say that now you're free and you are healed. Right? So do not take their help for granted. So again, I'll repeat that while there is no time frame for healing from grief, it is important to state that you must, at one point or the other, ensure that you have someone who is taking you on and counseling you about which way to go. Now, I have given a 4% discount on my course, How to Heal from Grief, on Udemy. I call it Grief Healing. Now, this course talks basically about grief, process of grief, why people grieve, and how to actually recover from grieving. I have created a 40% discount for the first 100 people who would take that advantage when they watch this video. Head on to Udemy. Of course, it's just in the description below. So click the link, head on to Udemy, sign up or log in, and claim your 40% today. Till I come your way again. Bye bye.